Okay, this next part in perspective, we're going to revisit single point perspective momentarily. Is at this point in the progression of learning perspective. So horizon line and vanishing point. We're going to put a vanishing point right in the middle today. I get a few forward-thinking students that want to explore how to draw a curve or a circle in perspective. And a circle in perspective is called an ellipse. And an ellipse is, like I said, it's a circle perceived as if it is laying down on the floor. So like if you were to take a hula hoop or some other object and lay it down, it's not an oval because in perspective, things that are further away are perceived smaller than something that's closer to us. And so in a circle, that would be the case as well. So what I've done here, put the horizon line in, vanishing point, and then somewhere near the bottom, I like to come about an inch away from the bottom. I like to make a line that's about 3 inches long. And I don't usually specify inches or dimensions for that matter, but this time it makes it easier. It eliminates some problematic moments that can make it difficult to understand. So vanishing lines from the edge, single point perspective, and then what I do is I like to come up an inch to an inch and a quarter, somewhere in here, and put another horizontal line, just making sure I'm parallel the edge of the paper. And now we have a square that's laid down almost like the first square of a sidewalk that's going off into the distance. A very straight street, I guess. But with circles, look at this roll of tape. When we look at this roll of tape, when it's down flat, it's a circle. And if we could put this circle perfectly in a square, all sides being equal, and mathematically it would only touch on the extreme edges of the square. And that is important for us to know here, because now we need to figure out where the middle of all four sides are so that we can then draw the curve that would create the ellipse. Now, what this does, how you have to do this, is if we connect the corners to each other, it will create an intersection in the middle, and that will effectively pinpoint the center, the observed center of this excuse me, of this square in perspective as we view it. Now, with my clear ruler here, you can still see that corner and this corner and this corner and this corner. They're going to intersect somewhere in here. I don't need to make big solid marks, big lines like this. I can just make a simple small mark here, because all I need is the intersection. And then I don't have as many construction lines. Construction line being a line that I know I need to create a point, but not the whole line to establish the drawing. Something I'm going to erase. So now I can create, from this point, I can create a line here, but again, that's a construction line. I don't need to do that, but for now it can make things a little easier. And then from here, simply going parallel the edge of the horizon line, or also parallel to these lines here. So now we have the middle of each of the sides, and you'll notice this half is smaller than this half because this half is perceived bigger. And okay, so now you can draw. And the important things to understand when it's time to make this mark is to not have a death grip on your pencil. If you're squeezing hard here, it's going to make it hard to create a single fluid line. Also, I tell my students, don't don't hold yourself up with your hand and just draw with your fingers, not allowing your wrist to slide on the paper. So creating this line, and I tell my students I make it look, by no fault of my own, or at least trying not to, sometimes can make this look a little easier than it is. A little bit of practice goes a long way. But you'll notice as I drew this in perspective, this line continues to get a little wider as it comes around. And that's super important. Sometimes we make a big fuss, newsflash everyone, circles don't have corners, okay? Well, students will try to come around here and then immediately get to here and think, okay, now I need to go this way, and they will draw a line. So this would be like a non-example. I'll draw it right over the top here, where they will immediately go like this to come down here, and it'll be way too shallow, and it will look like a football. And nothing against football, but we're looking for a curve where here it's perceived as round, but that edge comes clear out to there, where right there it's touching the edge of the paper, or edge of the vanishing line there. So just make sure that you're getting your ellipse down correctly. And let's clean this non-example out so that it's not confusing. It's like that. So that's an ellipse. I like to have my students then create another cone. If this is a cone right here, I have another vanishing point here. We break the rules for single point perspective, not having a single vanishing point. We put them over here and over here just for perspective practice. Put one here, draw a cone, and draw two more ellipses here, and a cone here with two ellipses, and then they'll draw two here, having 6 to practice from.